Hi there, Josiah David Fenimore back with another video. We are in Genesis chapter 38, and Joseph's brothers just sold him into slavery, and so he just got sold to Potiphar now. He's in Egypt. And it came to pass at the time that Judah went down from his brethren, and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her, and went in unto her, and she conceived, and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again, and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived, and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and rise up thy seed to thy brother. And Onan knew her that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, therefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted, and went up into his sheep's herders to Timnath, he and his friend Hira, and the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garment off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For he saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come up in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayst come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff, that is, in thine hand. And he gave it to her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she rose, and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah, and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in that place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed by, behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by her whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are am I with child. And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose these are, the signet and bracelets and staff. And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This one came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. Wow. There's a lot of different priorities back in the day than there were today. Family and having a family was so much more highlighted. People wanted to have children. People wanted to have families. They wanted to be fruitful and multiply along the earth. And when you see today's generation, myself included, it's been it's been one shortcoming after the next. And another hard and sad place to be is believing that you don't want to bring children into the world because of X, Y, and Z. You know, things are always going to be hard, and it's better to have, you know, finances established and stable and ready for those children, you know, so that you're not living in a pauper's situation. But there were rules of engagement, you know, that the Lord saw evil within Judah's first and second eldest sons, and he would not let them live and bear children. And Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Judah's daughter-in-law, she decided to take matters into her own hands, and she laid with Judah to give her a child. And it's so wild beyond the kind of answer that, you know, we would take, you know, for that situation. But God saw her as righteous, you know, because he wants people to be fruitful and multiply and have children, and saw that, you know, Judah wasn't giving his third son unto Tamar, and so she went in unto him. And it's just a whole different style of priorities back in the day, you know, where people wanted family, and these days, you know, people really want to look out for themselves, and I think it's healthy to look for family. I'm in search for my own family one day. You know, I have family, and I'm thankful for them, but I'm looking forward to that time in my life when, you know, I will have my own children, and I pray that my finances are well and stable and established by that time. So anyhow, that is chapter 38, and we will do chapter 39 on the next one. Peace.